We will start our lecture soon, so please turn on your camera. Okay, thank you. First of all, I would like to apologize that our original plan to have offline meeting have to be changed into online meeting due to the increase in PPKM level that we are now at level 4, means that all face-to-face class has to be cancelled, and we move to fully online for the time being. Usually, the decision of the PPKM level will be reviewed every Monday afternoon. So, and then the new level will be implemented the next day, which is Tuesday. So hopefully, next week we can have offline class again. Okay, but for now we have to be online. Next, I would also like to thank you for submitting your assignment. Okay, so that's a good thing to submit assignment on time, and I really appreciate it. Now it's time for you to present your group finding. Okay, so let's start with group 3. Okay, this is group 3 is let me check my okay, sorry about that. But apparently I haven't opened. Okay, so group 3 with Michael Auriel and Christian Allen. So please present your group work. So Michael and Christian.
Excuse me, sir. How do we need to present it?
Well, up to you. You can share screen. You can tell the story to the class, or you can show anything that you want to show to the class in order to explain to the class what you and Christian have been doing for the last week or so. I'll leave the detail of presentation up to you.
Wait a minute, sir. I will start the presentation.
Okay.
So the business that we are pick up is Velvet Nails and Jago Electronic. I will be introduced what is Velvet Nails. Velvet Nails is a small business that operates in the fashion industry, that they sell artificial nails that have been given color, and then it will be given the accessories such as sequins or just given by glitter. And if the buyer want to look more simple, there there are also a fake nails motif that only modified by the color or the shape. And Jago Electronic is a small business that operates within the electronic industry. They sell electronic devices such as water pumps, blender, and the others. And right now, the warehouse of Jago Electronics is location in Yogyakarta City.
So, anything you want to add to that, like the transaction or business process description?
I'm sorry, my voice isn't clear.
Okay. Yeah, it's okay. I can hear you.
Okay, I will be continue. Professionals selling their product through to online media. The first one is Shopee, and the second is Instagram. In the Shopee, all of us maybe know that the customer should search for the product that they want and choose the product in their product list. They're After selecting the product they want and editing them to their chart. After that, the customer can input and select their delivery address. After that, they will be process the checkout and select the payment that they want. After that, the customer pays and the Shopee will be verify the payment, and the admin of the Velvet Nails will be cross-check the orders and paste it into their nail crafter. The nail crafter will be make the artificial nails according to the customer's order. After that, then when the nails is done, it will be given to the packaging team, and the packaging team will be packed and give some glue and nail filler to help the installation. Other than that, when the packaging team was clear, the packaging team will be delivered to the delivery team, and the delivery team will be at the delivery address of the customer and the contact of the customer to, and the courier will be pick up the goods. Other than that, the goods will be sent into the customer, and when the goods was arrived, the customer should give a confirmation to the Velvet Nails through the Shopee. And if there is any troubles with the fake nails, the Velvet Nails will be contact again the customer and provide the best solution and give the compensation if need. And the way to buy from Instagram, customer can send a direct message of the product that they want and quantity of the Velvet Nails Instagram account, and the admin of the Instagram will be message to the customer their bank account or the e-wallet number, and the customer can pay down the payment for the order that they already processed. After the payment is received, the orders will be entered into the system, and the admin will be cross-check the order and then paste it to the nail crafter. And once again, the crafter will be make the artificial nails according that the customer orders. After the nails is done, it will be passed into the packaging team, and the packaging team will be packs the order and its glue and nails filler to help the installation. After the nails is done, the admin will be direct message to customer to complete the rest of the payment. And after the customer complete the payment, the labels of for the delivery address will be added. And the admin will be share the tracking number to the customer, so the customer can also check their package location. After the customer receives their package, the customer can contact the velvet nails to let them know that the goods arrived safely. And if there's any trouble with the fake nails, the velvet nails will be give the best solution, and maybe it will be give a compensation if it is need. And for the Go Electronic, Michael will be explaining.
Okay, for Jago Electronic, they sell their products to two medias, Tokopedia and WhatsApp. In Tokopedia, customers can search for the products that they want and choose it from the product list that they have. After selecting the product they have, they can add them to the cart. Then customer can input their delivery address and select the cruise that they want. They can then proceed to check out after choosing the courier and payment method. After the customers pay and Tokopedia verifies the payment, order will enter the system. Admin cross-checks the order and passes it to the warehouse team. Admin will then chat with the customer to explain about warranty and return policy. After the order reaches the warehouse team, they pick the items according to the order and pass them to the packaging team. The packaging team then packs the order, adds a label for the delivery address, and contact the courier to pick up the goods. The goods will then be sent to the customers, and the customers can track where the location of their package is. After a customer receives their package and converts it in Tokopedia, the fund will be transferred from to the seller's account. And if customers have any complaints, sellers will discuss with the customers to provide the best solution and give compensation if needed. And for the second method, people purchasing items from WhatsApp, customers can send a message of the product that they want and also the quantity to Jago Electronic WhatsApp. Admin will then message the customers the bank account or e-wallet number, and then customers then pay the full payment for the order to be processed. After payment is received, orders will enter the system, and the admin cross-checks the order, then passes it to the warehouse team. Admin will then message the customers to explain about the product warranty and return policy. After the order reaches the warehouse team, they pick the items according to the order and pass them to the packaging team. The packaging team then packs the order, adds a label for the delivery address, and contact the couriers to pick up the goods. The goods will then be sent to the customers, and admin will share the tracking number so customers can track their packages location. After customer receive their packages, customers can contact the seller to let them know that the goods arrived safely. If customers have any complaints, sellers will discuss with the customers to provide the best solution and give compensation if needed. The sales operation of businesses we mentioned, it operates in a similar manner, but there are a few apparent differences. Velvet Nails has to create a custom product for their customers, while Juku Electronic resell their good from factories to customers without any changes. This difference simplifies Jaku's electronic operation because they do not need another team to create custom products, thus minimizing expense for employees. Jaku Electronic customer can also claim warranty from the manufacturer of the devices, also minimizing the risk of lost revenue for Jaku Electronic. And if customers decide to return the product, Jaku Electronic can also resell their products, so they do not need to bear any loss. In contrast, Velvet Nails has to bear the loss if there is any product defect and customers want a refund. In conclusion, these two businesses move in a different sector, one of them in the fashion industry and the other in the electronic industry. These two companies give us evidence that they will have the same sales process as long as the businesses use online media. However, there will undoubtedly be slight differences in packaging between one industry and another. In addition, we can also see how a company can provide the best service for its customers. But in the end, these companies have good sales process and can be trusted. Although indeed between Velvet Nails and electronics, there are advantages and disadvantages in their application method. And that's all from us today. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Group 3. Look, I know that I didn't specify how would you should conduct your presentation, but this is a feedback from me that should be applicable not only in this class, but also for all your future presentation. This is without visual aid and you just keep talking, the audience will be bored. And especially with a description like a process that you guys mentioned, it's very hard for some people to understand the process without visual cue or without visual help. You know, and presentation is not just reading the text. Okay, so that's especially for Krisan and Michael, both of you just reading the text. If that's the point of this session, why I should be bothered with this, I can read your assignment. But the idea of presentation is presenting the idea for the audience so they can capture, they can understand what you were saying. Look, in the other class before, because there are so many students, more than 30, I limit the presentation to just 5 minutes. Okay. Originally, I didn't, well, today I don't want to do that with you because there are only 3 groups. So even if each group take 15 minutes, it's still shorter than the previous class, which is 9 groups. Okay. So well, maybe not for today, for next presentation, and especially outside this classroom and even in the real life, if you want to present something, even if you haven't prepared anything like PowerPoint like that, don't just read from the text. Okay. Okay. Now group 2, William and Stefania.
Okay, so can I have my second device to in this meeting? Because
Sure. Yeah, sure.
Thank
Why
you.
not?
Have this device. Wait a second, sir.
Okay, sure.
I can see now. Wait a second. I will present my our group.
Okay.
Okay, can you see our screen now?
Yes.
Not our screen, my screen.
Okay.
I'm so
yeah,
sorry.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
Yeah.
This is for the easiest way. I will explain it with a grab from Visio, because I think if I grab without the Visio, you think if about the text you will port. I think so. I will go with the Visio. I'm so sorry about this. Is that okay?
Hey, sure.
Yeah. Okay. So the first one, the company that I choose is what our team choose is about the game in the gaming sector. We choose about the, I think it's about the our store is sell in the games. It's about the you know about the game that really famous is nowadays in many students like ML, Mobile Legend. I'm so sorry, like Genshin and other else. So this is the easiest way to understand this. The first that customers, what is it? Wait a minute. Customer's order will receive to the system first. But in this I don't give it. I'm so sorry because I don't have the time. The customer will have the good sell to the system. Will order. The order will be received from the order will be received. Wait a minute. Edit in brief browser. Yeah. The customer will order first like this, and then after that the seller will give the confirmation about the order. Is there any about the goods, is there in there or not? After that, if the customer want it, so they will pay the product. This is the simple way about it. And when they pay product, when they want to pay product, the seller will give some like maybe choosing for the method, the easiest way to say, like they want to use OVO or whatever. But I will tell about it when the customer turn, the seller say that the what is the product is not in there, or we say it out of stock, then the customer will be back. For the easiest way, I will present you in wait a minute, in this like this. You can see. I will zoom in.
Yeah.
Like this. This is the easier ways. Like looking the product availability. If not out of stock, they will be back to the the seller will be edited and will be back and the customer will be looking again. And if not, they will product still in stock. They will process to buy the product. So after they pay the product, give the seller will be give the method to pay the product, and then giving the method to pay the product, customer will pay the product. With I said that is choosing about the product. What is it? Method to pay. Next one, then giving the transaction evidence after they done the pay, and when they give the transaction evidence, is in, I think I have the mistake in here. They will give to the computer the data, and they will what is it? I'm so sorry. I forgot what I said. Let me see about this. In this, what is it? Yeah, document. They will in document, and then next one. Okay, I will zoom in again. I'm so sorry, guys, about this. And then they check the transaction. If the transaction is confirmed, then they will asking the email. Why? This is the difference between the first and the second one. I think the next one will be they will be explained first, and I will tell about it. And then they asking the email, and customer will give the email, giving the email to the seller. Then after the seller get the email, then they set up all the preparation, and they give the customer the password and username. After the customer get the product, they secure at the account, and that's the end of the process in there. This is the easier way I explain it about my about the first one, the industry claim. I think the next one, Anya will explain it to you about the second business that we choose.
So I will continue explaining the second business. So basically, each business is have the similar process. So for the second business, this is clothes and accessory sector, which is the name is Unicorn Staff ID. This small business is in Instagram and social media. So how the sales process is, first the customer will look at the Instagram post. Then after they already choose the items that they want, they can contact the seller by DM or WhatsApp. After that, in that process, the seller will ask the customer to fill a form that include address, phone number, name, the items, something like that. And after that, after the customer already filling the form, then the seller will provide the way to pay, like with bank or OVO or ShopeePay, something like that. Then after the customer already pay how they will pay the items, then the seller will ask for confirmation, the proof that they pay. Then after confirmation, the seller will ask the customer to when they want to the items to be delivered, like the time, something like that. Then after the customer already given the time when they want to the items be delivered, then the seller will deliver the items. Then after the item reach the customer, then the process is already done. Maybe that's all.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Anya. I will add something in there. So these two has the similar, but the different point in this two business. You can see about the second business uses what is it, like delivery process. In the first business, there are no delivery process because it's game. There is electronic, and we cannot see the physical item in there. So this is the main difference between these two business. But actually they have the same process in selling process. That's all that I add. Thank you.
Okay, good. Yeah, I see that you already create some of the data flow diagram and flowchart. That's actually for the next assignment, but that's okay. Yeah, thank you. Group 2, that's a good presentation. And last but not least, group 1. So Bellatrix and Gloria.
Yes, sir. So, can you hear my voice clearly?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So, thank you for the opportunity. Before we start our presentation, let me introduce me and my partner. I'm Bellatrix, and my partner is Mbak Gloria Ivana Sutejo. So, before we started, maybe Mbak Gloria will share screen about the small business that we choose.
Is my share screen already seen on the? Okay.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Good.
Okay. The first small business that we choose is Bookatland.id. So, Bookatland.id is a business formed on July 4, 2020 by Angel Helena Kurniawan. The business is domiciled in Yogyakarta, more precisely on Jalan Kolonel Sugiono, Bandokusuman, Kecamatan Gambang. This business is a florist business or a business that sells various types of flowers, bouquets, and all flowers-based gifts. This business does not have an offline store. Sales of the store's products are made by online via direct message on Instagram, Line, and WhatsApp by PO or pre-order. But Bookatland.id also makes sales through a website created with LumoShop. The items that are input in LumoShop have a definite price and type. So suppose the customer doesn't want to custom and request the flower bouquet they want. In that case, the customer can directly order through this website after clicking and choosing the shipping method if they wish to use a self-pickup, online driver service, or shipping from the seller itself. But still, mostly sales are made by WhatsApp and other social media platforms because customers more often request what type of flower bouquet they want. The customer can directly communicate with the social media admin through direct message on Instagram or line on WhatsApp. Usually, customers are required to fill in the order description form. The form contains the order name, delivery address or COD address, date and time, customer order, recipient's name, and the last one is the call number. Bucketland is also open for any customization on their order. After filling in the form, the owner will send the receipt of the order directly to the customer, and then the owner will record the order in the notes and order flowers to the supplier according to the amount needed to make an order on that day. Okay, the next one is Tukatuku. It will present by Mbak Gloria. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Bella. And the next one is the Tukatuku Furniture. It is a furniture store that sells home decor appliances and operated in Yogyakarta also. So they have two systems of the sale processes. The first one is same with Bucketland.id. They use direct message through WhatsApp and Instagram, but they mostly operated the sales system on Tokopedia. So the first step is because customer requests their order to be shipped using Tokopedia, and mostly customer order the product through Tokopedia also. And maybe it is because they feel more trusted and safe. And after all, the money will be released when customer already confirmed the product is in their hands. When the customer sees Tukatuku's page and product catalog on Tokopedia, they usually communicate and ask for further information related to the product that they want to buy in Tokopedia. But by using Tokopedia, sellers and buyers must not communicate on other social media outside Tokopedia. And next, they can directly click Order Now on Tokopedia and then directly pay the bill through Tokopedia using any payment methods such as OVO, virtual account. And when the order is placed, and then it will notify Tukatuku asking whether Tukatuku will accept this order or not. So basically, and Tukatuku will check their inventories and check the order. And then after the admin checks the stock and decide to take the order, the employee will pack the goods and send the receipt and finally ship the product to the customers. And the shipping process is the same as the first system, direct message. When the product and the receipt arrive, the money from customers in Tokopedia will be processed to be disbursed so that it can be withdrawn later. So the next one, maybe Bella can add the comparing system between both of them.
Okay, thank you, Mbak Gloria. So comparing both businesses, we think that the product differences also determine which platform is effectively and efficiently used for the order system. Bucketland.id that sells flowers, money, and hampers bouquet usually has customers who customize orders such as customized words, color requests, or maybe budget requests. So we think that ordering and communicating the order through Instagram or WhatsApp personal message is easier and more comfortable for customers. Well, at Tokopedia, sellers have to put the type of the finished product, and the problem is that each customer will have different customization. So it is complicated if seller have to upload all the bouquet that match all customers. Other than that, the shipping methods on Tokopedia don't really match for the bouquet. There are no self pickup methods, and usually the online delivery services such as Grab or Gojek are not instantly delivered or approximately 3 hours. Well, customer of Bucketland.id usually want to use self-pickup or instant delivery services so that they can receive the bouquet instantly and the bouquet won't be damaged by shipping.
And comparing with the Tukatuku, well, Tukatuku that are already stocked product and there is no further customization that customer will request. Moreover, the shipping logistic in Tokopedia really match with the furniture items. That is why, in our opinion, Tokopedia is more suitable for Tukatuku sale processes. And besides that, the sale processes until the payment process with personal order on Instagram or WhatsApp are simpler for Bucketland.id, and the money can be directly transferred at the same time. Then the seller can also directly pay the supplier. And in comparison, Tukatuku doesn't have to pay their supplier after the order is placed, because Tukatuku already make the payment when they purchase all of the inventories at the beginning of the period. That's why purchasing through Tokopedia, where the money cannot be obtained directly, is not a big problem for Tukatuku.
Okay, so finish.
In conclusion, the main difference between marketplace and direct message is that marketplace is used as an intermediary so all purchases and payment systems are brokered by the marketplace, while sales using direct message don't use intermediaries, but every business will choose their sales to be processed with a platform that is suitable for their product or maybe customer and also the seller itself, because every platform is chosen to help and make their sales processes easier, right? So that is why Bucketland.id prefer to use direct message. Thank you for your attention. That's all about our presentation.
Okay, thank you, Kirpan. Thank you, Gloria and Beatrix. Look, our presentation cue or visual aid doesn't necessarily mean it has to be in form of diagram. Okay, what group one did with showing the actual picture from the social media or from the marketplace for their the business that they observe is quite useful. You know, and William, I get the sense that you just finished the diagram and haven't really understand the diagram. So when you explain your presentation referring to the diagram, you made a lot of mistakes. Okay. Well, that's okay. I mean, people do make mistakes, but in the professional or in practice, presentation could not have those many mistakes, especially, for example, if you were in a situation like you have to present to get approval. You need to present during exam, okay, oral exam for, defending your thesis, for example. Or you were interviewed for position and have to make a presentation about it. Do not make mistake and never ever apologize. Once or twice, that's fine. But I lost count about your apologize previously, but that does not reflect well on your presentation and your capability. I know that you work hard in this assignment, no doubt about it. But if you are not really comfortable with the visual tools that you had, use something else. Okay, and it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to create something. What Group 1 did with just showing the actual Instagram account, for example, and the pictures and how, the process of how to order, and payment, everything, that's actually helping. At least for me to, to get the real understanding, you get the grasp of what really happened to this business that being observed. Okay. Okay, thank you for all the presentation. I know you work hard for that, so I really appreciate that. Okay, next, I think I already told you when William present the diagram. Next, you need to create the diagram, data flow diagram and flow chart for each of the business that you observe. For the data flow diagram, just the context diagram. Okay, more or less what William already shown us today. Okay, so and you are free to use any tools you like. You may use Visio. William already show us how to use Visio. You may use DIA diagramming tools that I shown you last week, or you can use any other diagramming tool. You know, even if it's necessary, you know, you can use a hand drawing diagram if you like. Okay, I don't really have problem with that. But you need to submit your assignment in a Word or PDF document. So if you draw it with some application, the diagram, you need to copy and paste the diagram into Microsoft Word. Okay. If you use hand drawing, you need to take a picture or scan your drawing and enter it into Microsoft Word before submitting. Okay. Be careful if you take pictures or scan of your hand drawing because it could be quite large. Okay, and I can't remember exactly, but I think Kuliah site has a limit on the size of the files. Okay, the limit was implemented for security reason. Okay, because people can attack a system just by saying a large size files. Okay, so that's why the file size for uploading assignment was limited. Okay, any question about the next assignment? Yes, William. Go ahead.
Can I know about what flowchart that you really prefer? Because I have searched in the internet, there is so many type of flowchart that I see that make me confused.
Okay, what do you mean by type of flowchart? There is only one flowchart.
Yeah, there is one. Yeah, flowchart, but I don't know. There is like, you know, like in other like other materials from here, like they just make one diagram just straightforward like that.
Okay, look, the type of flowchart that's usually mentioned in the textbook is the purpose of that flowchart. There are flowchart for system, flowchart for document, which is essentially the same. It's just emphasizing different aspect of a system. Okay, so just draw a flowchart that, in your opinion, the best in representing your first assignment. This is the textual description. Okay, so it's like you already have the words. Now you need just to add the picture for that one. Okay, does that make sense, William? Okay, good. Gloria.
Okay, sir, I want to ask, we should only make one of our business or both of them?
Okay, for each business, so both, it has to be both. But for each business, only one process, because some of you maybe describing, I think it's Michael, describing the transaction and then the shipment of products, the delivery of the product. So I just need to, for you to choose one process. Maybe payment, maybe sales or whatever you like, but just one. Okay, for each business, just one.
In each business, two diagram, context
Yes.
diagram and flowchart.
And flowchart. Yeah, that's why I need you to only pick one process because it will be substantial work.
Okay, thank you, sir.
No worries. Any other question? Okay. So this is what I like doing in all my classes, that I make the assignment related from one to another. So your first assignment will be based for the second assignment, and it will be related to the third assignment. So for example, for this class, once you made your observation, the result of the observation can be used for several assignments. So, you know, it's not a waste of time. It's not going to be useless because it will be used for many times. Okay, so that's my style, and I want to give you a sense of integration. You know, if you observe something, this is how you describe it, this is how you make diagram, and then later we'll try to see what's behind the system. Okay, but that's for the next materials. Okay, there are many more materials coming. Okay, now thank you for that. Today we will discuss the next topic, which is relational database. Okay, let me share the screen. Okay, can you see the PowerPoint? Is it visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. So relational database. Okay, we'll start with what's database. Database is efficiently and centrally coordinates information for a related group of files. That's a fancy term, okay, but what is it? Okay, if you remember your introduction to accounting exercise materials, so if you have transaction, you recorded that transaction into a journal, and then you post the content of that journal into a general ledger or subsidiary ledgers, and then you create financial report from that ledger. Okay, and I think so far most of the process in introduction to accounting was using paper-based. Okay, so you have to write something on papers or books or ledger. Even if you use Microsoft Excel, for example, that's still considered as manual process. It's just using electronic recording system, but the process itself is still manual. With database replacing the pen and paper for storing and managing the data. With database, the journal will be stored in database. The general ledger and subsidiary ledger will be stored inside a database, and then it will be manipulated in positive term. Manipulated means you process the data, and then you can create or produce financial reports and any other reports. Okay. So that's essentially what database is. Okay. In the old days, each application will have their own data stored. Okay. And in those days, there are plenty of different programming languages, and each programming language will have different storage methods, storage structures. Okay. So it's very difficult in order to share information between or among applications. For example, shipping. you can only ship a product if it was ordered first, or if there is a sales for that product. So customer order that product through sales here, then you send the product to customer. Okay. It will be very strange that if you didn't order anything and then suddenly a truck stop in front of your house and deliver a product that you never ordered. Okay, so billing is the act of asking the customer to pay for the product that they order here and they receive. So we will discuss this in much detail when we discuss the revenue cycle. But invoice or bill only can be done if a customer order the product and receive the product. If they order the product but haven't received the product, the billing could not be produced. You know, you order something, you haven't received it, and yet you have to pay. What would happen? You'll be irritated, I think. That's the least. Okay, so that's the problem. Now, in order to do that, the sales program, the shipping program, and billing program have to share information among them. But with different software, different application, it's very hard to share. Okay. That's why then there is a concept for database approach where you centralize all the data into one place and manage by database management system. Then all the application will have access to this. Let me give you these examples. I don't know whether you still use Facebook. Anya, you still use Facebook these days?
No, sir.
Okay. Well, I'm from the older generation, but I noticed something that's quite peculiar about Facebook. So one day I searched for excuse me that I searched for an old movie. Well, it's not that old, but it was it's a film series that released in 1990s when I was still high school students. The series was Star Trek: The Next Generation. I like that series. And then suddenly, after I searched that, you know, looking at different DVDs or movie streaming services, and I log into my Facebook, and suddenly on my Facebook page there were advertising suggesting many products related to Star Trek: The Next Generation, because there are a lot of different versions of Star Trek, the original series, The Next Generation, Voyager, Deep Space Nine, recently Discovery, and then Picard, things like that. But they especially offering me products from the Next Generation part. Okay. And I never mentioned anything about that at the time. I never mentioned anything about the Next Generation in my Facebook post. So how did that could happen? Because the part of Facebook actually monitoring my activities, and then they put it in a database, and then the advertising program pick up that my activity on Star Trek: The Next Generation, and then serve me with advertising that related to my interest in that series. How does that happen? With centralized database approach. So it's similar with, for example, after you finish your class today, I'll upload your attendance list to the system, different system, And then in a few hours or a few days, you'll see that your attendance being recorded, and the result will be appears on your site, your SIATMA, that you attend this class today. But I never touched anything from the SIATMA side. I don't even know how SIATMA looks like. Okay. Only students have access to SIATMA. So, for example, this is the SIATMA. My site of attendance, it's called the SPKP. Okay, so it's here. So yeah, two different applications, but from the same data source. Okay. So inside the database, there are plenty of tables. Tables will be placed for storing the data. So in database, relational database, data being stored in a form of tables with rows and columns. Rows will be called record, columns will be called field. So field here is the columns, record is the rows. Okay. Now, if you remember your introduction to accounting exercises or materials, it doesn't matter, you probably remember that the form of ledger, subsidiary ledger, and general ledger are very similar to tables. That's why computerizing or automating accounting records and accounting process is very simple, because the form in which the data being stored is already similar, which is tabular format. Okay. Now that's the basic element of data hierarchy. So now you have a system, accounting information system, all the transactions being recorded in form of journals, journal then being updated into general ledger, produce financial information. But what happened with the data that being stored from the previous accounting years or financial years? What happened with the data that recorded in 2017? Okay. It will not be discarded. Those data will be stored in a special database called data warehouse. This is a very large database that stored historical data of a company or organization. And then you can create a lot of analytics exercise on that data. Like, for example, you want to know which product is the most pricey in the last 10 years, which product is the most profitable in the last 10 years. Okay, so if you learn later in, I don't know whether you will have this or not, but in a management of a product, there is a thing called product life cycle. So if a product being introduced for the first time and it's being accepted by the market, the sales of the product will increase. But at one point of time, the increase will be decreasing and the graphic will start to plateau. It's not increasing again, but start to horizontally. And then after the customer being bored with that product, the sales will decrease. So it will go down. Okay, so that's the product life cycle. It's very important, for example, to see which product starting to plateau, which product starting to lose its acceleration, which product the customers start to get bored. You can see this in automotive industry. Okay. If a product started to, the sales of product, say for example, Toyota Avanza and Daihatsu Xenia, in the old days, in like 10 or 15 years ago, it was both cars are the best-selling cars in Indonesia. But then the customers start to get bored with that. Then they start to move to another make and model, to another brand. Okay. Astra understand this because they have the data. So what they did, they changed something about the Avanza and Xenia line of products. They probably changed the design, they probably changed the features, the facilities, things like that. Okay, so it's very useful. Okay, and not only that, you can see that, for example, and this is have been done, you can predict which. So my story here, my next story, it's based on actual event. Okay. You can see it in a movie starring Brad Pitt called, I can't remember the exact title, but it's from a baseball team, Oakland A's. So at that time, the manager and also the coach of Oakland A's having difficulties recruiting players because they could not recruit star player due to financial limit. Okay, so they have limited finance. So instead of chasing after star player, baseball player, they start by looking at statistic of that player. You know, which player based on their statistic analysis that can win the game. The point of having star player in any sporting team is for them to win. But sometimes, or not sometimes, many times, even if you have star players, the best player in the world, you still can't win. Nobody will argue that, for example, in basketball, Michael Jordan and also LeBron James, they were the best basketball player in the world for the last maybe 20 or 30 years. However, just because they are the best doesn't necessarily mean they will win every game. Michael Jordan started to win NBA championship after they recruited players that can support him. Same goes for LeBron James. LeBron James win the NBA championship after he moves to Miami Heat and have Dwayne Wade and also Chris Bosh to support him. And that's where the statistic of or data analytics come into play. Okay. So what are the advantages of database? First, data is integrated into single place and managed centrally. So it can be related to each other, data sharing. For example, I gave you example about Facebook advertising or Google advertising. Okay. Minimizing data redundancy and inconsistency. So there is only one version of information and only one version of the truth inside an organization. When I was a junior lecturer, more than 20 years ago, our faculty always had this problem every start of academic year, which is how many new students are enrolled in Faculty of Economics, Business and Economics. Okay. At the time, there were 3 different versions of the number of students. And that's very frustrating for the faculty and also for the departments, the head of the programs. Why? Because the number of new students enrolled in faculty will be translated into how much money Faculty of Economics generate. Its students will pay, right, in form of the what is it, the SPU, or I can't remember what's the current name, but yeah, you pay for that. Okay, so for example, if its students pay 30 million and there are 3 different versions, 300, 400, and 500 new students, for example. Which one? Which number should we get? The 300 students, 500, or 400? Times 30 million per student. So which one our revenue? Okay. Next, the problem with different number of new student enrolled is the class. For each new students each year, they have to be offered, and they get the package, right? The class package for first semester student. They'll get introduction to accounting, introduction to information system, introduction to business, maths, and I can't remember what are the others, but they have to be prepared. Okay, because we only have limited number of class capacity, we have limited number of lectures that can teach the class, so it has to be planned in advance. If the number of students miss, then it could be we under offer, offering something that below the required number, or offer. So we offer, so for example, we only need 5 classes, but we offer 6. So the 6th class will be useless. Or under offer, we need 5, but we only offer 4. So there will be 1 class where the student doesn't have any lectures or classes to go to. Okay, so that's, we can eliminate that with only 1 single version of information. Data is independent of the programs that use the data. Okay, so if you search something on Google, Google will share that with other applications. Okay. And data is easily accessed for reporting and cross-functional analysis. I already told you this. Okay. So in database, different user will see different things. You, for example, if you open your Siapma, there will be information about yourself, not about other students. If your guardian, legal guardian or parents open their portion of information system, it will only show them your record, not other students. I only can see your attendance here. I have no idea what are the other classes that you enroll this semester. Okay, so but there is some person that can see the whole data, and it's called the database administrator. Okay. As database administrator, he or she will be able to see the whole data, and that's required for him or her to fully conducted his or her job. And then each user will be assigned specific access right. The access right fall into 4 different basic access right. First, access right to create new data. You don't have that. Okay. You don't have access to create new data. You can have access to read the existing data or update the existing data. Read and update. You also doesn't have right to delete the data. Somebody else have that access. Okay. Now to design, we will have this later. Okay, but designing database involving creating tables and the relationship between them. Okay, and that's what we call relational database. Okay, like I said, relational database will visualize data or show the data being stored in form of tables with column and rows. In each tables, there is at least a single column that will be served as identifier or primary key or key field. That's specific columns or field that differentiate between rows. So for example, for you, there will be student ID. Your student ID will be unique. no two or more students will have the same student ID. In fact, if you decided to transfer to, say, management program later this year, your accounting student ID will not be deleted. You will be given new student ID. So it's possible for a single person to have more than one student ID in our university. Or after you finish, you continue to postgraduate program here in Atmajaya. Yes, you will be given new student ID. We will have it soon a doctoral program in management. If you decided to pursue doctoral program, you will be given a new student ID. So one student can have more than one student ID, but for each student ID, it's only for one student. Okay, that's relation. With database, we can limit on how to update the data and delete the data. Okay, and then queries. Okay, queries is the process to search specific data from one or more tables. So for example, you want to know how many students that came from Jogja that have academic advisor Bu Anas, for example. Or who students from, say, Jakarta that has Bu Nadia as their advisor. Okay. So that's the process of finding specific information. Okay. Database. Any question? So simple things. Okay, if you want to visualize database, just look at it as a tables, columns and rows. One table will have data about a single thing. It's either person, place, or event. Okay, we will discuss it more later. And don't worry, there will be a lot of discussion about database, and you will have exercise on that. Okay, any question? No? Okay, if there's no question, that's it for today. And again, I'm sorry that we could not attend offline classes, but hopefully next week we can have offline classes. Okay, so see you on the next lecture and have a good day.